Hit that button. Welcome, everybody. We're doing a commentary of Friday the 13th, Part 4. Next week is the 13th. Welcome, so everybody. We're doing a commentary of Friday. So we will be doing another Friday the 13th commentary then. Me and Robert will each pick two, and then we will throw them into a poll to let the community decide. Why can't I? Let me just start the timer. Trying to get it past the menu and everything as well.
Yeah, here with my favorite Friday the 13th film. I think you're more of a Jason Lives kind of guy, but this one's my favorite.
I am definitely a Jason Lives, zombie Jason kind of guy. But no, this is definitely in the top tier. I think Jay from Another Media put it best. Like, when you think of Friday the 13th, it's this and 6. Mm-hmm. Those are the two, movies that perfect the formula.
We might debate about this, but if somebody's interested in these movies and is ready to strap in for the long haul, you obviously start with the first. But if somebody just wants to watch a Jason movie and doesn't care about most of them, like, you could just show them this one, right?
Yes. However,
because you get that recap.
I have also I showed my friend this movie and they hated it. I got them into it through Jason X and Jason 6 and the later entries. So,
but I would still guess so that person probably wouldn't like the original.
Yeah. And I will never show them that because they would freak the fuck out on me about the snake. Why won't this error opening file? Okay. Well, my timer's not working and I don't feel like fixing it, so no timer tonight.
Yeah, that's fine. You want to just take that off the screen?
It's already gone.
Confused.
It's already gone, mate. And then we will be recording this as well, just to throw up see if we can get some views on it.
Completely impromptu, but hopefully
completely impromptu. I was like, Robert, you're wearing a Friday the 13th shirt. I like Friday the 13th. We've never had a chance to talk about it on camera, and now I get to trash Robert's favorite. No, I'm just kidding. Oh, my frames are all over the place too. Hopefully it goes through. But anyway, get it to timestamp 0. Are you ready, sir?
I'm ready.
In 3, 2, 1, go. And for anybody who likes to see people show off their physical media collection, I am watching this on a steelbook that I don't know where it went. I might have left it over there. So this recap drives me nuts.
Why is that?
So this is a shot from part 2, but they're going to have part 3 footage. There is no way these characters can know that.
Oh, I it's just a framework. I think it's fine.
If you're going to do that, though, you can't do it with a cast from one of the movies.
Given the history of continuity with this series, this is a place where I don't really care. It does keep either keep or start the tradition of that poor guy in the wheelchair whose death we see many times over the course of these movies. Whenever we do a recap, we always get that guy.
I think we stopped these after this one, though.
I think we bring it back with 7.
Is it 7?
Yeah. because that has Crazy Ralph doing the opening narration.
Okay. And I like 7 a lot.
And I don't.
I'm a basic bitch. I like Kane Hodder. Yo, what's up, Zed?
Kane Hodder's great. Everyone's favorite Jason and everyone's least favorite Jason movies.
He's in 2 of my favorites. 7 and 10 are in the top of my list.
I wish he got to do Freddy vs. Jason.
That movie would be perfect if he was Jason. I will die on that hill.
Now, of the pre-zombie Jasons, I think this one's my favorite, Ted White. I think I like him more than the guys from Part 2 or Part 3.
Yeah. We're still in the recap. Okay. Hold on. We had just an audio error. We're gonna have to start over.
Okay.
Unfortunately, music started playing, and I was like, I can't. What the fuck? Where's that coming from? I accidentally opened up Cap Stream.
Oh.
So it played for like 30 seconds over us talking.
Okay. So when you post this in video form, I'll just cut that bit.
Yeah.
Okay, we are at timestamp 0, Friday 13th final chapter.
Yes, we are. All right, attempt number 2. This is a commentary on Friday the 13th, part 2. Nope. Or part 4. God damn it.
13th final chapter.
Jason Manhattan. Zed in the chat says that Jason in Manhattan was dope. I like Murder City. I like Jason Takes Manhattan, but that was my first Friday movie. You always like your first one.
That's true.
And it's got some cool kills. The guy dunked in the water and everything. But if everybody is watching with us, get to timestamp 0 and push play in 3, 2, 1, go. No, I see. The thing with Hodder is because everybody says, he's the best Jason in the bad movies. I don't think these movies, other than 9, are outright terrible. They're all watchable. I would put any of his movies above like part 3.
It's been a while since I've attempted to rank these. I'm not sure, but part 3 ranks pretty. A lot of people like 3. There's some good stuff in it, but that one also does
some okay stuff. But then you got like that one woman that's running down the stairs. They're all dead. Yeah, it's the worst actress. Licorice Pizza is not as cool as Jason. I mean, that's just true, Zed. I haven't seen that movie, but I don't think that ever came to streaming to watch. Like, I know it was rentable, but I didn't want to pay for it.
Yeah, I still haven't seen it. But even the bad Friday movies, I like all of them, or they all have something I like.
I think the bad Friday movies are better than, like, say, the bad Nightmare movies, or especially the bad Halloween movies.
Oh yeah, I agree. Well, obviously, I like Jason Goes to Hell more than you do, but a lot of people like you who don't like that movie just don't call it Friday the 13th. If you make it its own thing, it's okay. There's a lot of great gore in it. There's some stuff in that movie I like.
I've never been so conflicted on a movie as I am Jason Goes to Hell, because I do think it has some legitimately great characters. It has some good gore, but it's not a Friday the 13th movie. God damn it! How do you feel about Baghead Jason?
I kind of like him, but obviously the hockey backs was the correct.
You know why they changed it, right?
I've heard a couple different things, so go for it.
So the one that I was interested in is because they were accused of ripping off the town that dreaded sundown.
I've heard that posed as a theory. I don't know if that's true or not.
Have you seen that movie?
I haven't seen it, but I'm familiar with it.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, look up the poster. It is like identical.
Yeah, no, there's a few Baghead killers from like early slasher stuff.
There's your favorite kill because you hate people in wheelchairs.
No.
Zed says the number 3 is okay. It's okay. 4 is also good. I've heard arguments for number 5. 5 I've come around on.
5 is the most reappraised of the franchise, right? Because that was the most hated one for a long time.
I've definitely come around on it. It's not one that I would be like, well, I want to watch Friday the 13th movie. I'm going to watch, part 5.
Yeah, it's not one of my favorites, but I do enjoy it.
God, I just want a new Jason movie so bad.
Me too.
Noah, hey, Ted, where's Corkscrew? That's not the line, you son of a bitch.
We'll let the subtitles tell us when we get there.
I love the way they do credits. It's simple but effective. The music's great. Like you instantly just from the credits will know this is a Friday movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd already seen Back to the Future at this point, so I knew Crispin Glover as the dad in Back to the Future.
Oh yeah,
I think he's better in this movie. I'm just saying.
Oh, I think he's good in both.
Seems bad, but like, what's one thing he does in Back to the Future that you remember?
Oh, I mean, like the whole romantic subplot, him standing up to Biff at the end. It's his weird mannerisms and stuff that make that character.
Music by Henry Manfredini, because he does all of them. Zed, I enjoy that y'all don't hate on shit, just enjoy the things y'all like. I mean, we've hated on some stuff on this channel. And we will hate on some other shit we have to sit through, but yeah. We try to keep the disagreements playful.
If you've seen any of our videos, I like a wide variety of horror movies. I love thought-provoking, dramatic stuff, and I also love Friday the 13th. I enjoy variety.
I like that they give a credit to a screenwriter. I want to know what his job was. Teen dies.
Yeah, this movie doesn't have a plot in the technical sense, but I don't care.
I've also found with this movie specifically, I am kind of like a sponge. If the person I'm watching it with is not having a good time, I'm not having a good time. Like I told you I showed my friend this movie and she was hating it. That's the worst viewing of that movie I've ever had. It's like, maybe this is boring. And then I watched it on my own. I was like, this isn't boring. What?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And like most Friday movies, not much happens for the first half until Jason starts killing people. But in terms of pacing, I think
it's not true. Crispin Glover found out he's a dead fuck.
Yeah,
and then he didn't. And then he found out he's not a dead fuck.
That's true. And
it was very compelling.
This opening shot is genuinely impressive. This is a good long take, which are all the rage and really popular now. But Friday the 13th, final chapter, beat Daredevil by like 30 years.
I don't know if you have this, but part of what I find interesting about these movies is how much of a relic of the 80s they are. Because most of the people in these movies did not go on to be in other things.
That's true, that you do get the weird like just from watching that first movie, who could have predicted that Kevin Bacon was going to be this huge A-list star?
That if you have a bad time, everybody's going to have a bad time. Big surprise. Yeah.
Mm.
And the yellow coats kind of remind me of Return of the Living Dead for some reason. So this is where it gets screwy, right? Because he's the slasher, so he has to, come back. But he's not a zombie yet, and we are definitively going to kill him. Do you think it was the hockey mask that saves him?
It's that and that big lump in his head. It just didn't reach his brain. I don't think they thought or cared.
No, I know they didn't. It's like, these make a lot of money.
Oh, yeah. And Paramount was embarrassed by how successful these were. This is a real studio. But they were making money, so this is it. This is
it always just makes me laugh when people are like, oh, studios today have no, morals, and they're all evil. Paramount greenlit 10 movies, or 8 movies that they were embarrassed by. Zed says, oh, are you kidding? Bacon knew he was a megastar. That's why he changed his name to the most widely loved meat in America.
Yeah.
But there's a difference between knowing you're a star and actually being a star.
And then, of course, this movie's, the most notable one for having both Crispin Glover and Corey Feldman, early in their careers.
That's
And it
true.
shows that they give stand-up performances.
Yeah. Jason's just taking a nap.
Mhm.
And we now have a movie that is basically, what if you followed Jason instead of the kids throughout the movie? And the answer is nothing happens for 90 minutes. Although that movie does have some of the most insane kills I've ever seen.
I need to watch it for that. And this
It's
shot's
coming to Shudder soon.
one of my favorites in the movie, with all the vehicles going away and the helicopter all fading in the distance as the sound of nature takes over. See, there's some artistic direction going on here.
Well, and it's also important to note that I think it's this one. This guy worked on like the guy that plays Jason worked on like the Universal Monsters.
Yeah, he was a stunt guy on Creature from the Black Lagoon, which is one of my favorites. But I don't think it's ever been confirmed if he was one of the stunt performers as the creature himself or just one of the other guys. For the
Okay.
creature's obviously way cooler. So my headcanon is this guy was both the Gill Man and Jason, but who knows?
This might be the best character in the movie.
Yes, stand out. And again, like, this is a director who Joseph Zito, I think, who was apparently really difficult to work with. But this is a creative POV shot with Jason's body going through this morgue. Like, this is a competently directed shot movie.
Well, have you seen The Prowler?
I have seen The Prowler.
It's also pretty good.
That's some of Tom Savini's best work, who does the makeup in both that and this.
Well, it's the same director.
Some excellent kills. Yep.
That's why he brings Tom Savini. Or I think Tom Savini brings Zito in.
I just didn't remember if that was before or after this movie.
If you believe these movies, everybody in the country is fucking their coworker.
Yeah, sure. During work hours.
Some good chemistry.
Mm-hmm. This is probably the best relic of the 80s of this movie, this stupid workout tape that is real.
You would notice the workout tape first.
It's what's not playing on screen. Also, fun fact, one of the ladies in this tape will go on to be in a Friday movie. Jason Lives, I believe. I want to say it's the van scene. I think that girl's one of these girls. So
with the most insane sex scene in the franchise.
Yeah. Well, insane in a comedic way. The remake goes a lot further.
I mean, that scene is just stupendous.
I love how neurotic or bipolar this lady is. She flips back and forth so much in the span of 4 minutes.
Well, it fits because she's bipolar and he's gross.
Yeah, this is not the sleaziest film in the series, but it's got one of the sleaziest characters. This guy does a lot with very little screen time. Axel.
Yeah, what the fuck? This is like a whole television show. Will they, won't they, in 2 minutes?
There's something in the water, man. There's something in that Crystal Lake water that just makes everyone really horny.
Because this is the horniest slasher franchise, right?
Probably.
Here it is.
Jesus, goddamn!
I want to show
Christmas shit.
I want to show Cap this movie just for that scene.
It's so good. And now she's angry. I'm going crazy. She acts with her arms. I like that.
Yeah, it's
Goes
an
very
acting
big.
choice. Don't you remember in Halloween where Jamie Lee Curtis kept going like this? Now watch, she's actually like somebody, and we're just both idiots.
Yeah. We do have, if it wasn't for the ending, what I think is probably the best kill in this movie coming up.
Yes, and it's brutal.
It
Even
is
cut
perfectly
down.
edited. It's cut down in the best way, where you don't get a lot of time to see how fake it looks. Where
Have
your
you watched
mind,
that like 6-hour documentary on this franchise?
I've seen clips, but I haven't sat down and watched the whole thing start to finish.
Tom Savini talks about like they would send it cut back and they'd get it sent back, and all of it was to cut that stuff down in the great hopes of not having to cut the big scene at the end.
Yes. And it's funny, even though this is unfortunately kind of the first one where the MPA really was more enforceful with how they would cut it and trim out the violence, this is the only one where it strikes a good balance, where the violence is there, but it's brief. Like, oh my god, this is so gnarly. And you don't see a lot of it, but you see just enough. Like, that head twist is amazing. And as opposed to part 7, when the gore is gone entirely. And it's so frustrating.
No, but 7 does have a couple of really good kills.
It's got a couple. The sleeping bag is,
And the axe to the head is so satisfying.
That's a good one. But there are so many kills in that movie that you just don't see. Where I think that starts with part 5, where so many characters get off screen to death, and it's really disappointing.
Well, and like this franchise is kind of the reason that I think the MPA are hypocrites, because you're going to tell me that this isn't okay, but elevators of blood in The Shining is fine.
Or shots of dead children with an axe on the ground.
And like, sure, maybe they read artistic intent, but that shouldn't matter on a rating.
Yeah. Oh, they have never been consistent with, okay, this is allowed in an R, this is allowed in a PG. Like, it's never been consistent. Jaws is very gory in a couple scenes.
To be fair, though, that PG didn't exist. The 13 didn't exist at the time, right?
Yeah. But I would say if you release Jaws today, that wouldn't even get a PG-13. That would get an R.
So, would you agree with me on this? Because this is just an excuse for Tom Savini to show off his masks. I don't believe that a child made this.
No, not at all.
Rob Zombie would have made a good remake of this movie, right? Because his Michael is just Tommy, but he goes down the wrong path.
It's so weird that they gave him Halloween when there's so many other franchises. He just makes sense to remake. I don't know you like that movie.
So, I mean, okay, but it's weird. But also, if you look at the landscape at the time, he had just come off of Devil's Rejects, which is his best movie. He was the horror guy. Of course, you're going to give him Halloween. Have you seen Devil's Rejects?
I haven't. I need to see more of his movies.
And that I don't disagree, but A, that came out 2 years later, and B, it's a different studio.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously, Texas Chainsaw Massacre had already been made. It's so weird that you wouldn't give him, a sequel to that.
It's so weird it didn't have a sequel. They did that prequel, but
it gets a prequel and then it's done. That's what's so bizarre with that era of horror, because you kept pumping out remake after remake after remake. Hardly any of them got sequels, even the successful ones. Like Halloween got Halloween 2. He came back for that and then it was done. It's so strange. Friday the 13th remake doesn't get a sequel.
Well, and we know there was plans for Friday the 13th sequel. Like they had, I don't know if they had a finished script, but they had ideas. But I think with the Friday remake, the Nightmare on Elm Street remake derailed anything with that. Because if you remember, they didn't do anything after that with remakes.
At one point, I think it was Friday the 13th, they almost got another reboot off the ground. That would have been
found. It was the found footage one, yeah.
So that sucked. That would have sucked. So I'm fine that didn't get made. The reason why they didn't make it was because the sequel to The Ring, Rings, didn't do well, and they said, "Oh, people don't care about legacy horror movies anymore." So I guess because Rings didn't do well, people don't care about Friday the 13th. Like what?
I want to go to school. I want to go to the school where these execs are educated. Because to them, point A connects to like point Z, and they just ignored B through Y.
Yep. And what you always miss is, oh, maybe you just make a good movie next time. All these movies failed. Oh, why did people hate the Nightmare on Elm Street remake? Maybe because it sucks. You know?
Well, it's like with the versus trend. You know, you have Freddy versus Jason, which I think is a really good versus movie, you know, for what it is.
Yeah,
and then another studio rushed out AVP and it killed the whole thing. Because we know there was like half a dozen like versus movies in production. And there's Pamela Voorhees' grave. Who put it there? Nobody will know.
Yep. Talk about this.
Yep. Now, do you know about Jason's father?
Yes. In some versions, Elias Voorhees.
Yes.
I believe part 6 he almost shows up.
He is.
Or does that go back to this movie?
No, that goes back to 6 at the very least. That's the first place I remember hearing about it. And he is a cut thing. There is I don't know if you know about this, there is a Pamela Voorhees comic miniseries that mentions him. My issue with that is it goes down the Deadite route.
Yeah.
Pamela gets the Necromonicon.
That's all worth it if you make a Ash versus Jason movie.
Yes.
Sadly never happened.
This death is also gross.
It's very gross and good. And again, part in terms of pacing, you at least get a couple deaths sprinkled in throughout this first half. It's not like a lot of the other Friday movies where nothing happens.
Yeah. And what's really cool about that documentary is they even got her back.
Yeah, that's awesome.
They interview her.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of different interviews, you know, from different times over the decades.
Well, and that kind of retroactively is the perfect one because they were able to get like Betsy Palmer and you know all the people that aren't with us anymore. And she's very candid, you know. I just did it for a paycheck. I didn't know it turned into what it did.
There's something almost bittersweet about that, or a little sad, but I mean it's cool. She got paid. It's weird when you're Betsy Palmer and you're in all these classic things, and now Friday the 13th is what you're most remembered for.
What I respect is that she's honest about that, but she's not ashamed of it. Like she'll talk about she is honored that all these people like, come up to her and want to talk about Mrs. Voorhees.
Yeah, she's cool with the fans, and that's always nice.
And I think that's part of what made Kane Hodder take off. Is he's kind of the first one that wasn't embarrassed to play Jason.
True.
Like the other guys would come back and do cons later, but at the time as these movies were coming out, they didn't want anything to do with it. Kane is crazy though. Did you know he has kill tattooed on his inner lip?
No.
Yeah. No, he shows off and I think it's in that documentary and the Jason X special features. He has kill tattooed like right here. And he always chokes fans at conventions. I worked with a guy that actually got choked by Kane Hodder.
That's awesome. Oh, so when Ezra Miller does it, it's a problem. But when Kane Hodder does it, it's cool. Okay.
I think the difference there is one party was willing. So the problem I have with this movie is a lot of these characters are interchangeable, and I don't remember most of their names.
Yes. You mean you don't remember Rick and Sarah? ?
No. Have you watched the review on these? Where Jay makes like that huge ass sign?
Yes, that's a great Red Letter video.
Because this also has like twice the cast of the other three at this point.
Yes. Yeah, well, this has the highest body count. I think in total there's about 12 or 13 kills in this movie.
Well, Jason
I think.
also, at least now, this has been skewed a little bit because like Michael has come back now, but at the time he had the highest body count just in general of the slashers.
Mhm.
That may not
Well,
be
but he
true
might.
anymore.
Well, except Jason X. If you count that ship that gets blown up, that has thousands of people on it, then Jason's still the winner.
I say we count it.
But I
It's
will say,
canon.
these characters aren't compelling, but these actresses are likable. I'm
Huh?
not I'm not super bored during their scenes. Like they do have a like I buy them as friends. Like they have good chemistry.
We haven't gotten to like the part 7 where there's just the obviously obnoxious girl that you're rooting for to die. And I'm okay with that too. Because when she dies, it's very satisfying.
It's a great death. I wish it came earlier in the movie, but it is a great death.
And I think what saves part 7 for me though is just that final fight is so good.
It's the third act makes that movie. That's the big problem I have with part 7 is it's just a lesser version of this. It's just these teens running a house, hanging out, and it's a lot
the psychic
of
stuff and
but you get the psychic stuff, and then the third act battle is pretty fun. Like that's what makes the movie. But here, you have Trish, who's not one of the best final.
Do you
girls,
often do this when you see a girl undressing in the house across from you?
Corey Feldman.
Like, what
Signs
the
were
fuck
there.
is he doing?
It's weird, but weird in a convincing way to me because he is just a kid, and kids are going to behave awkwardly in that situation. Like I think it tracks.
I mean, I'm not complaining. It's just like, what the fuck are you doing?
It's a little bit of that Corey Feldman zaniness. It goes.
It's also funnier because you have to imagine he's probably not actually looking at them.
Oh no, these were shot completely different locations. So yeah, what was the direction in that scene? I don't know. But this is a cute moment, where he's pretending to be asleep and his mom checks on him. It's like being a kid watching these movies if you grew up on these. Like I said, the characters are at least likable.
Well, it's also funny because like 2 out of 3 he's known for this. He's known for Goonies and Gremlins. Oh, and Lost Boys. But it's funny to me that he's known for Gremlins when he has nothing to do in that movie.
He's a very small part. I think they cut a lot of his scenes, but yeah, he kind of disappears.
Also, we have not yet moved. Hey, what's up, Teddy? Teddy says the best Jason film by far. Nah. We're not watching.
Okay.
We're not watching
You're
part
my friend
6
now, Teddy. Teddy and I are friends because he's probably named after a character in this movie.
But I will say, Crispin Glover has some of the best lines in this movie. No, we didn't bring any swimsuits.
As they're skinny dipping, it's so great. We have no suits.
I don't know if you have I don't know if you knew this as well, but later on during his big death scene, the Ted guy talks about like he actually got stoned for method acting.
Yeah,
he's actually stoned during that scene.
Man. Yeah, it's funny how fun this movie looks like it was to make, and it was not.
This was a hard shoot. And I think that
this was shot during the winter, and I wouldn't know watching it. But yeah, these people are freezing.
Donovan is with you and Teddy. I will be. That's okay. I will be the part 6 stan. Teddy says, "I just want a winter Jason film." Well, we kind of got that with Never Hike Alone in the Snow.
That's true.
But I would like a major production.
I know it was either the writer or director of Jason Lives. At one point, he was pitching a legacy sequel to that. That would just be a sequel to that movie. I am
baffled that they didn't just bring him back for 7.
Right? Yeah, a whole.
Well, okay, no, I'm not. Movie would be really cool. 6 gets reappraised, but that movie didn't do well at the box office.
It did okay, but there was clearly a downward trajectory. It was meant to kind of breathe new life, and yeah, it just did okay.
Well, I think part of the problem was that was the one that followed 5 that nobody liked. Or Teddy, I
Yeah.
got stoned for my art, guys. Yes, totally, just not because I wanted to. No, we didn't bring these
They have no
swimsuits.
suits. He says that's so funny.
No, dude, he's like an alien in this movie.
Oh yeah, and now we have the obligatory skinny dip scene. I guess making up for the skinny dip scene in part 3 that we didn't see. The characters keep talking about skinny dipping, and then we just cut away and don't see them, and then they're just back.
Teddy,
really weird.
the reboot is good. It's kind of the perfect way to reboot Friday the 13th, where you just take those first 4 films, which are arguably all the same movie, and condense them. I'd put it in the terms of the franchise in the middle for me.
Oh, it's higher for me. It's like my 3rd or 4th favorite.
Ooh.
I like the remake a lot.
I like me some zombie Jason. I like his teleporting BS. I think the remake just over explains him too much. Like I didn't need to know that there's like mines underground and he's
Yeah, but I like the survivalist take on Jason. I like that he can lay traps and shoot a bow and arrow and stuff. I like Derek Mears' Jason a lot.
I like that they just invite her to go skinny dipping with her little brother right there.
who has seen so much nudity in the span of 2 days?
And it's also funny because as a kid, I was very much that hipster that hadn't seen the first like 4 Friday movies. But I saw the remake and I was like, this is stupid. They got it all wrong. He's like a slow zombie guy.
You're one of those guys.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, this kid's apparently like a genius. He knows more about cars than I ever will.
Yep, he can make masks. He's a car mechanic.
And none of these skills will ever come back in 5 or 6. Well, no, that's not true. The mask comes back in 6, in 5. Teddy, when do we call a movie a reboot and when do we call it a remake? Is the same thing. So I mean, I guess with Friday the 13th, it's more of a remake because it is specifically remaking like multiple Friday movies. A reboot is like begins to 89, where you're not remaking 89, you're just starting over.
Yeah. That word has also shifted, kind of its meaning a lot because people used to describe fucking anything as a reboot.
Well, that was also before because that was like in the early 2000s, right before we got the remake craze.
Because even something like Alien Resurrection, which we would just call a sequel, I think that was even pitched as a reboot. It wasn't because it's kind of a starting over, even though now, but then that never led to anything. So it's just Alien 4 now.
And it's super like weirdly tacked on, like
yeah.
This looks a lot like the set of Creepshow 2 for the tar short.
It does. That's a great short. This is a good little fake out.
Well, The Amazing Spider-Man is a reboot because it's rebooting the Spider-Man property. Yeah, it's not remaking Raimi's movie. It's not a sequel.
Yeah. Yeah, that I'd call a reboot.
Wait.
Yeah, it gets...
Oh, wait. Okay, never mind.
It gets confusing when we get to the post, the Halloween 2018 era of movies, where we decide to do the sequels to the original film that ignore the rest of the franchise, and we can't just pick a word to decide on. I've heard requel, I've heard sequel reboot, I've heard soft reboot. We just can't pick a word that we all agree on.
If I had to pick one, it'd be soft reboot. The requel thing is just because of Scream, right?
Yeah, but I mean, people were. I had heard that word before that movie.
So this guy here is a big influence on the remake. Jared Padalecki is just playing this guy,
Rob,
but arguably better.
Yeah, that is an improvement.
Like it's a little weird to try to retroactively say that his sister is in one of the movies. I don't know which one it's supposed to be.
Part 2, the girl who hooks up with the guy in the wheelchair.
But hasn't it also been like 2 days since all that happened?
It's been 2 days. That's the thing. Would you even think she's missing? It's just, yeah, she went hanging out with her friends. Like, she's supposed to be working at a summer camp. Like, why does he think she's missing? Now that makes sense.
Okay, actually, to be fair, there could be a time skip from when Jason leaves the morgue to now.
Sure. I think generally it's considered that these three movies, 2 through 4, take place over a course of a week or a couple weeks, but I don't know. You could hit canon that if you want.
I call them cop out cool. I don't know if
I like some of them.
Halloween 2018 is the best Halloween movie.
I don't agree, but I do like that movie. It's also not a new concept. There are some earlier. The big
Hell,
one,
Halloween did it 20 years ago.
yeah, Halloween did it with H2O, but Godzilla's the first one to do that, right? Because in the 80s, Toho completely reboots and does a direct sequel to their original, and most people were cool with that. I think it can be done well.
People have just gotten so like cynical and are ready to scream creative bankrupt at the smallest thing.
And franchises have been doing this for decades. You know, this isn't new.
Like, I've gotten to the point where I tell my friends off. They'll be like, "Oh, I'm so tired of like reboots and remakes." There are a dozen original movies that come out a year, probably more than that. Yeah. You know why? You know why we keep remaking shit? Because that's what people go to see.
Because that's what makes money. Question: is there a lore reason Trish wasn't wearing pants in that scene? I don't remember.
To impress him. No. Teddy, Halloween 2018, the best one. No, the original. I don't love that original movie. That one's kind of like Halloween or Friday the 13th for me. The first two acts are really boring, and then it has an incredible final act.
Yeah, I don't agree. There's plenty of stuff in the first two acts I love.
Teddy, I was mostly kidding. I like some. No, for sure. I wasn't directing that at you. Just Robert and I have been talking about our frustrations with people. And I do not believe that a child made this.
Nope. But it's still a fun scene. The unfortunate thing is this did have a stronger payoff in the original cut when they were gonna mechanize like a bomb with the TV to like smash on Jason, and then they
here it is.
Oh, Robert, the dancing scene?
Robert, do the dance.
I can't. I'm confined to a chair.
Stand up and do the dance.
No. I'm no Crispin Glover, sir.
I love this. It's good.
It's good. It's good. Love you, Crispin Glover.
Donovan, sorry, but you're wrong. That's fine. I don't expect anyone to agree with me.
We're not here to argue about Halloween, John. We're here to praise this masterpiece. This is so insane.
And yet critics will still say that this is creatively bankrupt.
This is also, it's just funny because
that's not the original song that was playing when he did that, right?
Right. What was the original?
Oh God.
I've
heard Metallica. I've heard AC/DC.
I think it was something they just didn't want to pay for.
Yeah, and I believe the ones that they go with, that's the guy that does they're the guys that do the Transformers the movie soundtrack.
Good. That's a good soundtrack.
And then they just disappeared off the face of the earth.
It's just funny to me that with the first two Friday movies, there is like a semblance of a plot with, the camp backdrop. That's what's facilitating a lot of this. And then by 3, we just say fuck it, and it's just teens dicking around some location for an hour and a half. And this does the same thing, but these characters are so much fun to watch that I don't care.
There's a plot with 3
dicking around. Well, the main girl
also a summer
PTSD, camp. But they're just hanging out at the house. It's not a camp. Okay. And a barn. Half of the movie is in a barn for some reason. Yeah, no, this movie's just teens dicking around a house, but I don't care.
Drama is not bad for these kind of movies.
I do like the subplot of this guy hunting Jason. He becomes our exposition character. That's how we make the ending make sense with Tommy because he's our exposition guy. But the remake does do this element better because it's Jared Bradley. He's fun.
Have you watched Supernatural?
No, I still haven't.
That's
What's
another
the
show we
season?
could.
What's the season I need to stop at?
5.
Okay,
That's when Kripke leaves.
gotcha.
It works as an ending if you like a bit of a downer ending. Teddy, speaking of remakes, you know what horror movie I really want a remake of? Magic. Their one with the puppet in the movie doesn't make it obvious the puppet is actually alive or if it's in his head. What?
Sounds familiar, but I haven't seen it.
Wait, is that the movie that Raimi was talking about making?
I'm not sure.
I told you I didn't like that.
Oh, Jimbo. You're my favorite.
He thinks that's funny. He thinks that's a funny thing he's doing. Just everything he says is so good.
Hey, it's that scene from Stranger Things. And they're drinking the beer.
Oh, apparently he's directing a new movie for 20th Century Studios. He must
Oh,
he
cool.
must like working with Disney.
I'd like to see more work from Raimi. I did hear that he was working on a new horror movie.
Yeah, that is the one. Sam Raimi directing a remake of the Anthony Hopkins movie from 1978, Magic.
Okay. Hope it's good.
Never seen it, but I'll watch it for Raimi. I'd be curious to see the original. I don't think I've ever seen Anthony Hopkins as like a young person.
Is he an Elephant Man? It's probably the youngest thing I've seen him in. That's like
the 90s, right?
no, that's like early 80s. Because that's pretty early Lynch.
I was also thinking of something else, I think. I have not seen that.
Gotcha.
Wait, Sam Raimi and the director of Terrifier are doing something together?
That sounds amazing.
Dude, imagine if Terrifier had the like Evil Dead shots.
Shut up, dead fuck.
I also like that half of them came here with a girlfriend, and by the end of the night, there was someone else.
Yeah, well, it's because the twins show up and balance the scales. How much do you like the twins and think they contribute to the plot and the inner turmoil of these characters?
They really make the plot stand out, if you know what I'm saying.
Speaking of plot,
so her shot here, I do know was really hard. Like she got pneumonia from this.
I feel really bad for this actress. Yeah, and these movies continue to perpetuate, I guess, this myth that people just really like skinny dipping alone in the middle of the night in a lake. Sure. And who put that raft there? Whose raft is that?
Who cares? Robert, I don't think you understand what this movie is about. Naked women.
Oh.
I know I heard something, but it might be that they're working together to Sam's production company. I did hear that Crawl is getting a sequel, which I have not yet watched Crawl, but
I still need to see that. I heard it's fun.
I like that director. He did the remake of The Hills Have Eyes.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I would have thought that had been like a up and coming director. So yeah, he's been around for a bit. Then
I don't know if you've seen that, but it's pretty good.
I've heard I need to see it.
And it's one of the few remakes where it is kind of just a shot-for-shot remake of the original, but it's allowed to go to the places that the original just implied. So it depends on how much you like to see that versus it being implied.
I've heard that the Crazies is also a good remake. You know, for that era.
I would say the Craze is better than the original.
You're not alone. I have heard that.
The original is not really a zombie movie. It's more of like I don't know, like a weird political thing, anti-government movie.
Oh, that makes sense for the era.
And it's Romero.
Yeah.
Honestly, much I love the Terrifier films. I want to see what other movie Leon can do.
Yeah,
but
sure.
Let him finish his term, his trilogy.
Yeah, after part 3, it would be nice to see him do something else. But I'm looking forward to part 3. Paul, where's Paul, John?
He does a specific thing here that just makes this look so much worse.
Oh yeah, this is one of the standout kills of the movie. It's brutal.
He sells the hell out of that in wrestling terms.
Mm-hmm.
Wrestling's kind of like a slasher. You gotta make it look good.
It's just funny that these movies were so panned and hated by critics, and it's like, these are the ones put out by real studios and have some competent filmmakers behind them. There was so much garbage from this time there's so much worse than these movies.
Art in a Christmas setting was a great idea, says Teddy. I agree. Larry Jr. Hi, hey, what's going on, man? The only thing is, they should have just released it around Christmas time. It is a Christmas slasher coming out in October.
Yeah.
And yet Nosferatu is coming out, I think, around Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
That should be an October movie.
I agree.
I look forward to seeing that when it comes out to digital.
Now, this is definitely, though, the slowest part of the movie, and if you're watching this with someone who's not enjoying it, this is where it's really going to show.
Yeah.
Because at this point, nothing's going to win you over if you're not like.
But I have to say, just like having gotten past that, these two have some nice chemistry. Yeah. I'm rooting for Crispin Glover to not be a dead fuck.
Me too. And the twins are fun.
Larry Jr., what is your favorite Friday film minus part 6? Let's go. Larry knows what's up. Mine is also part 6.
Part 6 is great.
Welcome in, Larry. We're glad to have you. Robert, I'm thinking this was a good idea.
Yeah. Did Teddy say which one his favorite was?
Teddy, what's your favorite Friday the 13th movie?
I think he said perfect.
Larry, love you. Teddy. Zed, putting on challenges because this pasty white person I know said it was good. It's very good. My second favorite movie of the year.
Okay.
Oh, Teddy said part 4.
Okay, so 3 of us are in the part 4
this
camp,
man.
and John and Larry are in the part 6 camp. So
Larry, you're my only friend here. I came out here to have a good time, and honestly, I'm feeling attacked right now.
Hey, look, it's Paul. Probably the most forgettable character in this movie.
So this is just a me thing. Every time I hear that name, all I can think of is the Jimmy Neutron show from like the early 2000s.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you ever watched that.
Yeah,
but the monkey with 3 eyes. Hi, I'm Paul.
That's great. Well, I thought you were going to say you were confused because part 2 also has a Paul with the iconic Paul, where's Paul ending. One of the few characters whose fate is ambiguous. It keeps me up at night.
I've heard the novelization. I've heard the novelization actually has like an answer. Larry, have you all played the Texas Chainsaw game? I have. Robert hasn't because he's a fraud and won't buy a PS5.
That's true, because that's a lot of money. I'll get it at some point. Oh, okay. This is one of like the top 5 kills in this movie. This one's
Oh,
brutal.
this one makes me cringe, like in a good way.
Yeah, and this is also what makes that
Oof.
Siskel review so bizarre when he complained about movies like this killing off more women and women more graphically. I think this is pretty balanced.
No, this isn't. Jason is an equal opportunity killer.
I also think this technically has more male deaths. Yes, I have done the math.
I thought you were going to say you watched the kill count.
I have, but it's been a while. I think
Larry,
this.
real quick, Larry says you can play it on Xbox One.
I
It's not
don't
that
have
he
an
can't
Xbox.
play it on PS4. It's I can't play it with him on PS4.
Right. Yeah.
Because the
If you want to
developers are
play
bastards.
if you want to play the game again at some point, like I can just hang out and chat. You know, like if
Might,
you're in the mood to play it, I might join you and talk about it.
I
I
might
do
do
want
it.
to get it. It just sucks that the PlayStation 4 version isn't, cross compatible.
This all looks great.
Hmm? Yeah, it's kind of a shame that this director made some competent, good stuff, but also knowing at least on this movie, he was a total pain in the ass to work with.
My favorite thing about this movie though is the guy that plays Jason in this hated Corey Feldman. I like
And
you get a
then
little semblance of like stuff like this where like, Jason just ruined this guy's 10.
ruined his
At
life.
least I'm assuming it's Jason because we never see any kind of like wildlife in any of these movies.
That unless a bear split that gun in half, I'm pretty sure.
Maybe he did, swatting it around. Larry loves it. Teddy says Siskel can Siskel my. Whoa, this is a family channel.
No, I do want to get that Texas Chainsaw game. It looks fun, but man, I love that Friday game.
We did play some Evil Dead, and that stream did well, so we should do that again.
That's true. That was one of my favorites. I played that Evil Dead game many, many times.
That game is peak.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there was an interview, years later after the fact where Ted White was like, Corey Feldman, he was a good actor. What are you going to do?
Yeah, no, he said Corey, he never said Corey was a bad actor, he didn't like him as a person. Teddy, hey man, technically the teams are having a wild life.
That's true.
The Teen Titans. Have you ever seen the Robot Chicken skit? Fuck, what was it? Oh, where the Scooby Doo gang goes to Camp Crystal Lake.
I don't know if I have. I should.
I'll have to send that to you.
I have seen the Scooby Doo.
I loved Robot Chicken as a kid.
Me too. I had a big Robot Chicken phase, mainly because of all the Star Wars stuff.
I had just kind of like a Adult Swim phase. And I think it was when I was a younger teenager, because on the weekends it felt so badass to like stay up and actually watch Adult Swim. Like I really like that home video show that they had on. Larry, if there are no teens in Friday the 13th, there is no Friday the 13th. That's true.
The interpersonal drama with the twins is so awkward. Like, she just told her sister 5 minutes ago, hey, smash that guy, go for it. And now she's calling her a slut. What changed?
Well, she went to the same bipolar school as that nurse from the beginning.
Oh, gotcha. And the skill coming up is pretty cool with the shadow.
I think this means we have to play the Friday the 13th game soon.
We should. God, the player base on that sucks.
Yeah.
And it's so broken, and like we can give it a shot at some point because that is such a fun game.
If not, we can play Evil Dead.
Yeah. That's a good idea. At some point, we'll do Friday the 13th. But if it's just a failure of a stream, we'll just put on Evil Dead and switch to that.
The Evil of the Dead. We still got to do commentaries on those.
Mm-hmm.
Peak horror.
That's true. One of our many commentaries.
Do you want to sleep in my bunk? Like, I don't even know who this is. And it's discount Kevin Bacon.
Oh yeah, I do like this girl. She's very innocent. It's kind of a bummer when she gets killed. She didn't deserve it. It's just funny that we don't have a token survivor from this group. No, they all die. This scene also now reminds me a little of that scene in Pearl when they're watching like the old vintage porn. It's really awkward.
All right, Teddy. Okay, you said your favorite Halloween, your favorite Friday the 13th. Now, favorite Nightmare on Elm Street. 3 for me.
I go back and forth. I can say 3. I'll agree with you today. Might change my mind tomorrow, but I flip back and forth. I like
1 is also very good.
Equally.
I think 3 just has a better ending.
It does. When I first saw Nightmare on Elm Street, because I saw that one kind of late. I mean, I was like 18, 19, but still trying to catch up on a lot of the big classics. So when I finally watched Nightmare on Elm Street, I get to that ending. I'm like, am I going to be that asshole who doesn't like the ending? Because that's the only part that kind of let me down. And then I found out, oh no, that's actually the super divisive part of the movie.
Larry says mine is the first, or actually Freddy versus Jason. Freddy versus Jason isn't a bad pick. So Robert, sometimes at least in the realms of horror, you make me feel really old. Because I remember watching those when I was like 14. I bought my dad the VHS set at the time where all the big tapes would come together to make a picture of Freddy, and that's how I watched those.
Did your set have New Nightmare?
Yes, until my sister ruined it. But
because I think I could be incorrect. I want to say that set was originally just the first 6, but then they tacked on New Nightmare and re-released that with that added. But I could be wrong.
Teddy, okay, now Child's Play Chucky. Child's Play 2.
Yeah, I like the first 2.
It's like the only correct answer.
Again, it depends on the day for me, but
like there isn't a bad Child's Play movie, but like I feel like you could definitively say 2 is the best one.
2 is pretty great.
I do love me some Seed of Chucky though.
Mm-hmm.
Violence is bad, not violence. Violins. Like goddamn screeching sounds ruining the country.
And I like Bride of Chucky.
So that's the worst death in the movie. She doesn't even die. Just the camera comes up on her.
It's the one example of a character getting off screen to death in this movie, which will happen many times.
In this case, she literally just got screamed to death.
Yeah. Although they did shoot something else with her. Have you seen this deleted ending?
I have not.
So, because the first 3 all had fake out dream sequence deaths, where our final girl would have a nightmare and then big jump scare, it was just a dream. This was intended to continue that formula where Trish, it's like in the morning and she hallucinates this thing where she goes upstairs and finds her mom in the bathtub and her eyes are white, and then Jason pops up behind her and it was a dream sequence. So that would have been kind of an extra bit for the mom than just being off screen to death. So it's really creepy. It's really effective, but I get why they found it kind of unnecessary. I don't think the movie needs it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think most of the Friday the 13th movies don't quite nail the ending, and this one does. So I'm fine with it, but it's an interesting deleted scene.
Eddie changed his mind. No, not Seed. Curse is also really good. That one has a little too much straight to DVD cheapness for me. Like it's still good, and I think it's in my top 3. But I think Seed being 2 being more theatrical.
2 has really impressive animatronics.
And I like the TV show is great. We're gonna get to all of that eventually. We haven't. Like the first season. We still haven't done a single Child's Play movie.
Like a review or a commentary?
Nothing.
That's surprising.
Well, because for a while there, Noah and I were just doing Shutter Shuffle. We didn't really get back into it hardcore until you joined the channel. Welcome back, Larry. Good to see you. my fellow Friday 6 appreciator.
So, how do you feel about Trish? How do you feel about this movie's final girl?
She's fine. I have a hard time calling her the final girl when this is more of a final boy movie.
Yeah, she's the closest approximation to
And also,
that.
she might have died. I don't know.
Well, she doesn't die, but maybe she does between movies.
Larry wants to know, what is your favorite horror character ever? Ash Williams.
That's the correct answer.
If you're talking about Killer or Jason.
But I do like Trish. I like this actress. I think she's pretty good. I like these scenes with Rob.
What are you trying to do? Kill me? As he holds a machete. And okay, so do you have this? Because a lot of the killers that have signature weapons actually use their signature weapons. But like everybody thinks of Jason and a machete, but like he
That's
doesn't
almost
carry a
okay.
machete.
He does sometimes, but very.
Well, it's
select.
absurd in like Jason and Freddy versus Jason, where he has like a sheath for the machete and like just carries it around.
Yeah, he gets one in part 6. He uses it there a lot. But yeah, that's weird because this one you do get a machete, but Jason never uses it.
Teddy, Larry, the best horror character is Kevin McAllister.
That would be a good trivia question though. Like, what is the first Jason kill with the machete?
Oh God.
It's either wheelchair guy or the guy who's hanging upside down who gets caught in that trap. I think that's
Machete. No,
it's
that
one
is
of
a
those
machete. Because my favorite thing about that one is that machete looks like a plastic toy.
Yes, and he uses the wrong side. I mean, I guess it would be sharp, but it still looks awkward on camera.
Larry Jean in the Friday game has suggested that everyone Tommy knows died. I always thought the implication was that he killed her.
Right at the end of this movie, I never got that. It's just kind of a creepy. Tommy might be messed up.
But it's also hard to tell because we do that twice.
Yes, but also like if Tommy kills his sister, then he's getting locked up somewhere more. So he's not going to the halfway house in part 5. They're not putting murderers on the honor system.
Zed says, "I'm shocked that neither of you have replica machetes for this vid. I guess showmanship is done, much like chivalry sad. I don't have the room for a fake machete.
I've got the Blu-rays behind me.
I've got action figure. I've got stuff.
Got the Blu-ray case. Like, come on.
It was cut by the MPA. Okay, so maybe she was supposed to die in this movie.
No, I think it's just what I was talking about earlier, like the fake out scene where she sees her mom.
I would Tommy. Jason appears behind. Why do we set up Tommy to be the next Jason twice and then do nothing with it?
Right.
Teddy, does Art have a signature weapon or just use whatever? No, he's like Jason, where he just uses whatever.
Yeah, like he does. Jason does use a machete.
No, see, he does say, "Where the hell is the corkscrew?" No, it's just death.
Yeah. This is also like a top 3 kill from this movie.
No, it's so painful looking. And then it's sad because the best character in the movie died. Oh, Larry said it. No, I mean in the machete kill in part 2. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Tad, where the hell's the corkscrew? I think I should title the commentary when I upload the edited version.
You should. Yeah, Jason is damaged by machetes just as much as he uses them. Because in part 2, he takes a machete to the shoulder, and this one he takes one to the face.
Well, and I think this part 3 has my favorite like knife scene where like he's backing away from the knife.
Mm-hmm.
This movie also loves to break windows.
Yes, a lot of broken. Oh my
god.
She might be alive.
I don't think so, Tim.
That's a good stunt. Whoever did that stunt, good job.
Okay, how does she know that?
Earlier in the movie, her mom was reading a newspaper. where you saw the headline.
But how does she know that's who
No.
killed his sister? How do they know his sister is dead? Zed,
Yes.
if you kill with a corkscrew and there isn't a funny splunk noise, then you bad film. He doesn't get killed with the corkscrew.
Yeah, he just takes it in the hand.
Part 8 breaks the most windows, I think. Maybe. Or no, part 6.
I'd have to. I don't think there's a lot of broken windows in part 8.
No, I
Should
read
have a
it. I
window.
think he said part 6. Or am I having a stroke?
I'm reading part 8.
Okay, no, that
One of
does
us
say
is
part 8.
crazy.
I don't know. I don't know what's happening anymore.
It's really cool how much they nailed the geography of these houses in the game. Like when you
Yeah.
see that doorway, like, oh, I've been there.
I saw it happen. Yeah, that's my
Shoot,
bad,
Teddy.
Larry. Teddy, maybe that's why Jason doesn't like using machete, even though he thinks it looks cool. It also betrayed him way too many times. Well, no, I just love the one in Freddy versus Jason, because you can tell that Ronnie, you had no idea what either of those franchises are like, because he has like a fucking sheath for his machete and he pulls it out like a samurai.
In his defense, does he have one in part 6? Because that's when he gets all the gear. Where he's got the gloves. Because he gets it from the
No. Yeah, he gets it from not the sheath.
Okay, I could be wrong. I thought he had one.
And also, he doesn't keep that machete because the next few kills on that are like the one where he bends them in half. Do you smell toast? I did have hamburgers for dinner before we started this. We're good. Oh, burnt, but you know.
Hey, look, another nude scene. There's a lot of those in this one.
Somehow there's more nudity in this one than the one where they got an actual porn director to film.
That's probably technically true. If you're including the vintage porn, then yes, that would be correct. I forgot how much this movie is just Teddy watching old porn. that's like 10 minutes of the runtime. But
this is why I could not be an actor. I couldn't do that.
Yeah, part 5 has a couple scenes that make it that overshadow the whole movie. Part 5 is one pretty iconic scene.
Part 6 has no nudity. That's true.
Yeah, the only one.
I will say this is one of the weaker kills in the movie. Just a head stab.
I think it's pretty. I like the shot of the blood going down the screen.
It's not bad, but like, you know, you had the corkscrew, you have the head twist. This is why Jason has to die at the end. He's running out of ways to kill people with human strength.
That's the only problem with the kills in this movie is we start out swinging with one of the best ones that most of them don't live up to, but they're still mostly pretty good.
Yeah. I think I'm in love. This rivals the head crush for me, or the Saw one.
This one's good, yeah.
And I appreciate that little detail. Like, yeah, you know, this is young love. Like, she's head over heels. Well, too bad, bitch.
This is why I don't like that modern perception of slasher movies where, well, you're supposed to hate the characters because you want to see them die. It's okay if some of them are annoying, but I still like most of these people.
Even in the like later ones, like Friday the 13th Part 7, I think there's enough likable characters.
Yeah, I just find them kind of bland. But there's a couple okay ones.
I like the love interest. I like the weird like sci-fi guy.
I do like him. He looks like a young Matthew Perry.
I don't like this guy because he looks like Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, this is our movie's not Kevin Bacon, but we do have one of our first like close-ups of the hockey mask, which is pretty cool.
Hey, Polly, I'm fighting Jason. You know, no, you know who he kind of looks like? Zac Efron.
Yeah, I can see that.
I think part 6 is the most like polished. No, I'd agree. This
Yeah,
is
it's
awful, but like in a good
uh,
way.
this movie for me strikes that balance of being, really grimy and low budget, having that low budget charm, but still being competently directed and
Yeah.
a lot of it being well executed. 6 is the most like, oh, this is a studio movie. This looks good. It's an old fashioned monster movie, and it is really cool. But I do like the grime of this.
Well, and that one is definitely going for like Universal. He's Frankenstein.
And unlike this movie, that one sounds like it was actually fun to work on.
I believe her death is also just straight up in the remake. They have the blue towel girl that takes the axe to the chest. I think.
Hmm.
She does have a great great death, I think.
Yeah, it's really sudden. I don't think you're correct. The only axe throw you get in the remake is when he hits the guy and then tries to use him as bait.
I'm not sure about the like geography of that because it looked like the door exploded next to the handle, but then it hit her in the chest.
Oh yeah, it's not consistent.
No, that's a great one. They love their axe kills in this movie in these movies. I'm going to say,
Yeah,
like it's the weapon should be an axe.
That's true. Yeah, he gets the fire axe in part 8.
And I think that's what sets Jason above Michael. It's like Michael's a one trick pony, whereas Jason's like, well, I'm just good. Whatever's next to me.
Well, and in something like the Scream movies, I'm fine with Ghostface just using a knife most of the time, but like the
Because
kills
those
aren't
movies
like,
also aren't about the kills.
right. You're there for the characters and the suspense. They're not about the kills the way a lot of these old ones are.
Which famous slasher has the highest body count if you count only their first 2 movies?
Well, probably not Jason because he doesn't get any in part.
So you only have one movie. Probably Chucky.
I think
Well,
Michael.
no, because Nightmare 2 has a
Michael-
big body count.
It's Michael or Freddy, because Michael gets a lot in Halloween 2.
And Jason, and last I read, it was like Freddy gets like 10 and 2. Because you have that big like party scene.
And I think Nightmare 1 probably has more kills than Halloween 1.
No, because Nightmare 1 has 3.
Okay.
Because they kill Rod, they kill Johnny Depp, and they kill Tina. I think those are the only 3.
And her mom, question mark?
I don't know what's going on there.
I don't fucking know.
Larry Jason has more fun with his skills. Yeah, exactly.
That's true. He's a showman.
He's a... Oh God, I'm dumb. I completely forgot about the fact that Jason isn't even the first film.
He's in it, kind of. See him for a second.
Larry, Michael or Leatherface? Who is winning? I got Michael on that one.
Yeah, it's a shame because
Michael is debatedly supernatural. Leatherface is just a dude.
Yeah, but if it's part 1 Michael versus part 1 Leatherface, I don't know what happens if Michael's chopped up in a bunch of pieces. Like, does he reconstitute himself?
Well, I think that's my big issue with that movie is they can't decide how supernatural he is. Like, they say he's the boogeyman, but what does that mean?
I'm fine with the ambiguity. Also, in this movie, missed opportunity. That scene would have been way better if when Rob and Trish are walking through the house, if the old porn was still playing. They're like, oh God, like, the fuck are these weirdos?
Teddy, okay, rephrasing the question, on the count of the first 2 movies they're in. They're probably Jason, right? Because all of the movies have a pretty big body count.
But not part 2 has like 5 or 6. Part 2 doesn't have a huge body.
Friday the 13th, part 2 body count. Let's check the kill count.
Okay. Can I guess before you say? See if I'm right.
Yes.
Okay, so there's the couple in not in chronological order. There's the couple in the bed, that's 2, and then the girl is stabbed after that. There's Crazy Ralph, that's 4. Wheelchair guy, that's at least 5. And then Alice in the opening. Okay, that's 6. That's more than I realized. And then maybe Paul? Question mark. And then the guy hanging upside down. So unless I'm missing something, I'm gonna say 7.
Okay,
Paul's
hold on.
ambiguous. Might be 8 if they're counting Jason. But
I'm
I don't
pulling
think
up
you
the
can count.
page for 3. So per the kill count, there are 9 in part 2.
Oh, okay. I forgot something.
Alice, Crazy Ralph, the deputy, Scott,
That's the one. Yeah.
Mark, Jeff,
Okay.
Sandra, Vicky, and Terry. Although
Okay,
Terry is
so-
debatable because you just see the body.
Yeah, so part 2 and part 3, like that's about probably 20 kills or more.
And part 3 has 12. I think that's higher. We could probably reference this. Has he done the Halloween movies yet?
Maybe, but they're probably older ones. I don't think he's done recounts on yet on Dead Meat. But Michael kills a lot in the second one.
So in Halloween 1, there are 5 deaths. And Halloween 2, there are 10. So Jason wins by like 5.
Nice. Cool.
My boy.
And with Jason in part 2, I was only saying because, like, if you don't count the sequels, like, he's clearly dead at the end of that movie. But of course, they make a third one.
No, he's not.
Well, you get him jumping through the window, but that's a fake out. That's a dream sequence. But yeah, he's hitting the shoulder with the machete, and realistically, he should be dead. But then he's fine in part.
Realistically, he shouldn't be alive in the first place. Shut up. Larry agrees with me. Jason doesn't get killed.
But Rob does, because he's killing me.
Killing me. He's killing me.
God damn it, Rob. Now your parents have to bury 2 children. You fucking
And
idiot.
apparently they did this because like this really happened somewhere.
Ugh.
I don't care. It's still dumb. And you can't see anything.
I think it works.
Oh God, he's killing me. Wait, did she just go back down?
Oh yeah, the geography's. Yeah, okay, she is going back on down, and now they're just gone.
Well, Jason isn't even. But Jason can teleport.
He's getting some teleport in. He just did it. He's like, what the fuck was that? How did I do that? He hasn't mastered it yet.
Oh, he's hiding under the stairs. It's the people under the stairs. I don't know if you've seen that, but it's very good.
I do. Oh, I still need to see it. Yeah, it's on my list. No, what I find funny about this scene is he starts shouting, "He's killing me!" like before he's getting hit. He jumps the gun.
I like that Jason took the time to crucify that guy.
It's Christopher Glover.
Yeah.
I love how she's gonna go. She's gonna do this, but she wouldn't just step over the girl who's laying in front of the other door. Just walk around her. You don't need to do this.
I think she also has one of the craziest stunts.
Yeah.
Teddy, I feel like Jason can see Michael kills and be offended, like, oh, come on, have some pride in your art, you hack. Where's the creativity? I mean, that's my problem with all of those sequels.
Yeah.
It's fine in the first movie because that's what it's going for, but he doesn't do anything interesting or unique in any of the sequels. Unless you watch the producer's cut of 6 where he knocked up his niece, but that's not the good kind of interesting.
No. Yeah, people are going to quote you on that. Oh, hey,
I
Tom.
think how he hung him up and he's like, get down. No,
That's
I
a
love
good effect,
this.
though. When the hand goes through the
Yeah.
spike, it's like, ugh. That's a good bit of gore.
I love what we're gonna get here, where she's like taking so much time to board them up, and then he's just gonna go crashing through.
Like the Kool-Aid man himself.
One of the things that I found very interesting hearing Tom Savini talk about the first movie and this movie is one of the most important parts of special effects is the psychology of it.
Mhm.
And also, one thing that I will give them credit for is they will remember the continuity of Jason. Like that gash from the third movie will be there until part 8.
He looks so different from movie to movie, but there are those little things they keep consistent.
And it's only gone in part 8 because he has a new mask. Because Tina destroyed his old mask.
Yeah, and in part 5, it's a different mask.
Part 5, it's a spoilers, but it's a different person.
That's a different guy.
And it's equally as not solvable as Friday the 13th Part 1.
Yeah, this is the scene that they reshot where this room was going to be the climax, where they were going to not just smash his head, but also concoct like a bomb or something with Tommy's stuff, which could have been cool because it would have been more of a payoff for his effects knowledge. But what we get with the machete is better.
But anyway, he talks like in Friday the 13th Part 1, you know that kill with the axe where it like hits the lamp?
Yeah.
He talks about on the way up, it's a real axe. And you have them hit the lamp so the audience knows that it is. But when you bring it back down, it's a fake one.
And that's a good edit. That's a good cut from that to the girl with the fake axe in her face, and it's very seamless. And poor
Jason's
Ted
like, can I
White's-
come in?
Poor Ted White's gonna get a TV smash on his head. Like,
No,
yeah,
I just
guess
love
I
that like
can see
he's
what-
supposed to still be just a guy here.
Ah.
I had as a kid, I had the Freddy versus Jason novelization. It's weird. They talk about like how Jason's evil and Freddy's evil like counter each other. That's why they can hurt each other. And like when they're hurting each other, they're like really hurting each other. But interestingly, that is the first time that I saw the alternate ending to that movie because that goes off with that ending.
Oh, okay. Which
Have you
one? There's a few alternate endings.
The one where Laurie and Will are in bed together and he like starts turning
Okay.
into Freddy. And I don't know
That
what's
was
happening
weird.
there.
And then, spoiler alert, I think there's a later comic that she pops up in and that is killed by Jason.
So her and Will show up in Freddy versus Jason versus Ash
Okay.
and are killed immediately.
Why? Oh, like, all right.
I like how Jason has to like decide which one to go after.
This scene's hilarious.
No, this Jason runs too.
Mhm.
I want to see Freddy versus Art the Clown so bad. I just want a new
Ooh.
Freddy movie.
That would be a good matchup. Or Art the Clown versus Jason. That's cool too.
I think the only risk you risk with that is neither of them talk.
That's true.
Like Freddy versus Jason worked because I think about this sometimes with them and Batman and Superman. They're unintentionally complete opposites, right down to the way that they died. And because Freddy versus Jason has the clunkiest line of dialogue ever. One died by fire, one by water. How do we use that?
My headcanon is the ending of Friday 8 with the toxic waste traumatizes Jason, and that's why he's afraid of water in Freddy versus Jason. That's how that makes sense.
I think that makes perfect sense. He's in the dream world.
Yeah, but he's in water in this movie. Like, he's in water in a bunch
But that's what I'm saying is it's not that he's scared of water in the real world, but he's in Freddy's dimension where his fears are heightened.
Okay.
And also, Ronnie, you didn't watch the other movies. But no, that's never bothered me because even in that movie, He's never afraid of water again when he's in the real world.
Okay.
I think they were doing something there.
This scene is a bit. Oh, I think we got the bit you were alluding to coming up though with the machete, where you can see all these real machete gashes in the doorway from previous takes.
Yeah, you can see it there. Here. Is it? No, it's part 2, Jason. I think that had to go to the hospital because he got his finger smashed, and he like went in full makeup. I like the way this one goes. It's like,
This is very similar to the ending of part 3, but I think a little better.
No, it's much better.
Though the stuff with Tommy here is a little clunky and a little forced, where he just goes through these newspaper clippings and very quickly decides, I'm going to shave my head and look like little Jason to fuck with him. That I will say, it's kind of a repeat of that part 2 ending, but part 2 does it better when Jenny puts on the sweater and pretends to be Jason's mom. That's set up and paid off a little better there.
Well, it comes from a place, right? Like, she's a child psychologist. She's using her skills.
This is just trying to give Tommy a payoff for his interest in makeup. So it's something. Part 2 did it better, fine. But the scene's still fine. It's all worth it.
I will say, I'm not a fan of this Jason under the mask.
It's not the best. Part 3, that if there's anything part 3 does better, I think the Jason face makeup.
This goes too far for him. He's still supposed to be a human.
Yes, and he's so deformed that it's just clearly a mask because there's like no expression articulation. It's just a goofy face.
Do you remember when Halloween tried to have their own Tommy? I don't know which one you're talking about.
Do they mean Jamie Lloyd?
I don't know. There's a little bit of expression there.
Yeah, but part 3 looks more like just a guy.
Yeah, no, it's too much monster for what he should be at this point. In part 6, it makes sense when he's all like deformed and like undead.
Mm-hmm. Although at least here you still get a bit of that character from Jason in part 1, with the big head and form features.
This is legitimately impressive special effects work.
This kill is amazing. So
he's
good.
He won't stop moving. Little girl at the end of the whole. Oh yeah, he's talking about Jamie. Yeah, I remember how that ended.
Yeah, it's a very similar trajectory where maybe Tommy will be the killer. Just kidding.
Yeah, but they ended completely different places. Ironically, both in part 6.
That's true. Yeah, at least Tommy gets happy end.
I hate what they do with Jamie in part 6.
Oh yeah. And now there's a lot of Halloween fans who want the legacy sequel to Halloween 4 or Halloween 5. Like it's done. You don't need to bring Jamie back.
Okay, so I'm gonna kind of disagree because I don't need that, but I love Danielle Harris.
I do love Danielle Harris, and it was a shame. I was really hoping they put her in the new trilogy as a different character. I think it's kind of lame that they didn't put her in one of those because she's in the remake. She's in the remake.
Well, apparently Jamie Lee Curtis was like a bitch to her at one of the premieres or something.
Oh, that's a shame. But yeah, it would have been cool to see Danielle Harris pop up.
What a cut. Larry, if there could be a plot for a Friday film, what should it be? It's put a bunch of people in the woods and have them fuck and die.
Yep.
That's the plot.
We keep saying winter camp. Winter camp. That's what we want. You could do so many creative kills with that. With ski equipment.
What cop talks like this at that moment? It was perfectly fine. He's like in an anime.
It's gonna be just fine. Can you turn on another light instead of this blinding lamp that's radiating heat?
I like Halloween 4, but the rest of that era of Halloween sucks. Yeah, I think 4 is terrible. It's not great,
A lot
but
of people like 4.
It's okay. It's arguably the first soft reboot in that franchise.
Mm-hmm. And 5, as bad as it is, it does have Daniel Harris and Donald Pleasance.
I mean, it has Donald Pleasance screaming at the little girl,
which is great. Yeah, this ending is very similar to the ending of Halloween 4. That one just goes a lot farther. This is more ambiguous. Yeah, until it doesn't. Dun, dun, dun.
Well, that was Friday the 13th, Part 4, Robert.
The final chapter. They never made another one.
And then they made 6 more.
And then 2 more after that.
Yeah, but one's Freddy vs. Jason and one's a remake.
Yeah.
I just mean in this continuity.
Okay, I don't know if you do this or care. My headcanon, or at least like when I rewatch all these movies, I put Jason X after Freddy vs. Jason. It just makes more sense to me.
That was clear. No, they talked about that was the option. That was supposed to be the idea. Is like we want to set it far off so it won't like mess with
that, right?
It's decent, but there are better slasher films. Halloween 4 is like Friday 10. It's okay, but not amazing. Friday 10 is one of my favorites.
Friday 10 is Jason X, which is a movie.
Wait, don't tell me you don't like Jason X.
Oh, no, I enjoy Jason X. I don't think I like it as much as you do, but okay. There's good stuff in it.
I think I might have to throw that in my 2 picks for the commentary. This sucks on so many levels.
That's the worst kill in them. That kill is so disappointing.
No, but you know what's funny is predictably, all of the critics went to that line for their review.
Yep.
Are you looking forward to Art X? I am looking forward to Art X. No, but it's funny because like this is the 10th one. Surely you know what you're in for.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad we went there. I'm just so happy that the Jason in Space movie happened.
Yeah, I love Uber Jason.
Do you like Uber Jason?
I really, really want to read those Jason versus Jason X comics.
Those would be fun. The holodeck scene with the 2.
Hey, you want to smoke some pot?
That seems
great.
That
movie's hysterical.
Also, like the scene everyone agrees on is the liquid nitrogen kill. Like the first one is so good, and David Cronenberg is in that movie.
He is.
For some reason. Okay, let's pull up Jason X and give that a watch.
All right, let's do it. You say as if I wouldn't do it right here, right now.
Yeah, be sure to message me what 2 movies you pick for that poll.
Well, I'll just tell you now, I will pick Jason X. I will do 9 and 10.
Okay. Oh, really? Okay, I was gonna pick Jason Goes to Hell, but sure. Okay,
I'll free up your pick because we've done on the channel. We've done my 2 favorites, 4 and 6. Okay. And like I'd be willing to do any of them, but I'll free up your picks to do. Teddy, I think once a franchise goes to 10 movies, I want weird shit. Yeah. Well, and that's what surprises me about Saw 10 is like it's not like just Saw in space or whatever, but it's low key one of the best Saw movies.
I'm looking forward to watching it. That's what everyone says. Well, that was a completely impromptu live stream, but a good time.
Yeah,
no preparation for it whatsoever. But I've also seen
we did no. Yeah, we did no prep. We were just like, you know what, Robert? We've never watched a Friday movie together. Robert and I don't really get to watch movies together unless we're doing commentaries, because he's a bastard.
Yep. Well, and you're usually busy on Saturdays with your other friends watching other movies.
But I'll tell you what, if they bail on me tomorrow, I will message you.
Okay.
I just can never tell if you're actually around because you're always offline. We need a way to like properly communicate.
That's true. But
all right, Robert, on stream, give me your phone number. Mine is 66725. Fuck you. But no, Robert, I had a lot of fun. I like Jason killing people. I gave that a
Me too.
4 because I don't know if we can actually review any of the like I've reviewed.
Oh, this
First,
is 5 out of 5.
that's a 4 out of 5 for me. I actually no, I did review the first 4 and the remake with Josh. I did those specifically to show him the remake. Saw is one of the few horror franchises I haven't watched. You really should. They're insane.
Yep. That's
Oh, Robert, we gotta do Saw and the Saw movies just in commentaries.
Oh God. I was gonna watch those last year and I didn't get to them, so hope I can watch them this year.
Larry, he would take away a good movie, but would get rid of 4 bad movies. What? Tommy, Larry, if Tommy didn't stab Jason, he would lose, and he would take away a good movie, but would get rid of 4 bad. There's no bad Friday the 13th. Come on now.
That's true. These are all great films.
They are.
Well, we'll be back September 13th for another Friday.
Yes, we will be doing another Friday the 13th next year. Next month, because there is a Friday the 13th on that month. Robert is going to pick 2. I will pick 2. We will throw it up in the community chat, community poll closer to the date, so you don't have to pick right now. In fact, take back what I said. I definitely am going to put 10 because I like that movie, but we'll put 9. We'll back burner 9. If you want to pick that one, you do go ahead, but I'll look and see what I want to pick. But close to that date, watch the community chat tab. That's where we'll throw the poll. Robert, as always, it's been an honor. Chat, it's been an honor. Have a great night, everybody.